here we are in this incredible venue, the Richmond Olympic Oval.
Yes, we
It's
are.
no longer an oval.
Right.
How did this all come to be?
So the idea for the Oval came out of a conversation that started to happen at Vanoc about the propriety of building a venue at Simon Fraser that may not live up to the legacy promise we had sort of committed to. People were worried that we would just simply do what others had done, predict a great success and end up having venues we can't afford, that nobody wants, and there are plenty of those around the world. So the goal was to try to make sure that every venue had a home post games and that they would contribute to something that really mattered. And we came to the realization that we needed to somehow look at this through a different lens. Richmond generally is an entrepreneurial community, and we thought that they would figure out a way to be able to do this. And so this piece of land, which had been sitting here on the Fraser River for decades in a land bank, they had no plan. It hadn't been identified for a project. So I phoned the city manager from my car. It was a traffic jam, and said to George, we have an idea that you might be interested in that would give Richmond the possibility to become an Olympic city. And he said, I'm all ears. So next day we go out to Richmond and we meet in his office and literally drew this so-called, venue on his wall. So he's sitting there and you can tell the wheels are turning, and he stood up, he said, I'm going to go talk to the mayor. And I said, when? He said, now. And so he goes down the hall and he meets with Malcolm and they have a conversation, and he joins us for a bit, and next thing is they decide they're going to take a look. And it was just, I think deep down they thought that underneath that guise of Olympic City, there was the potential for something special for the community. It was not an easy decision. I think Simon Fraser was pretty disappointed and annoyed with us for the decision we made, but we felt that we had to think about the broader community. And today I look back and I think that this was one of maybe the great decisions that we made, and this venue today, I think it's not an understatement to say that there is no building in the world quite like this. And this oval now is the home of multiple activities, national teams, events, clubs, sports, year-round, climbing walls, gymnasium, and it's hugely successful, and it's financially viable and doing very well. So it's on a list of one or two in the world that can honestly say that they are actually growing and thriving and so on. So it's a terrific success story. And as a design, the pine beetle wood is here, and the engineering, it was built largely using BC technology, BC ingenuity, BC products. So this was to be a showcase to the rest of the world of what you could do in this province. And that always struck me, that cities had kind of aimed a bit low in terms of how much they thought they could do. I mean, Salt Lake Games were fairly regional, very impressive games. Torino was all about, renovating the city of Torino, just fixing the city up, and we just never settled for that. But we wanted it to change the way the world views the country, and that was the goal. And it's not for us to say whether we succeeded or not, but overall it feels like the country had a good experience.